Stop what you're doing and listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you see attraction, desire, and hidden signals. And most men will never hear this in their entire life. You think you know when a woman is interested, right? You think a glance, a smile, or a casual conversation is all there is to it. But I promise you, you've been blind to the truth. There's a secret world of signals, hidden intentions, and unspoken desire that plays out right in front of you every single day. And if you can't read it, you will always miss it. Imagine this. She wants something, but she won't say it. She is testing, watching, and dropping signals that most men completely ignore. She gives clues in her eyes, in her words, in her gestures, and in ways so subtle that only the ones truly awake can see them. Most men, they are waiting for her to confess, waiting for her to make it obvious. And while they wait, the opportunity slips away. But if you watch this video until the end, I will teach you exactly how to see what most men cannot, how to read the invisible language of desire, and how to notice what she's never saying out loud. Every glance she throws your way, every laugh, every story, every tiny gesture carries meaning. They are breadcrumbs leading to the truth she keeps hidden, and right now, you have the chance to follow them. Most men never even notice these signs, and if you're smart, you won't be one of them. You will learn to see the unspoken, understand the subtle, and awaken to a level of awareness that completely changes how you interact, connect, and understand hidden desire. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just notice her signals, you'll know exactly what they mean, and you'll gain insight most men only dream about. Let's start with something that most men completely overlook, and yet it is one of the most powerful indicators of hidden attraction: a woman's eyes. Now, I'm not talking about the obvious gaze, the casual glance, or the polite smile you think is harmless. No, what I'm talking about is the subtle, almost imperceptible way her eyes search for you when she thinks you're not paying attention. There's a depth there, a quiet intensity, and if you can learn to read it, it will change the way you understand human behavior and desire. Think about it. Eyes are the window to the soul. They reveal what words often hide. And when a younger woman is interested in something secret, something she doesn't want to admit openly, her eyes betray her. They flicker towards you in moments you don't expect. She might be talking to a friend, laughing at a joke, pretending to scroll on her phone, but her eyes are checking you, watching, measuring, curious. It's almost imperceptible if you're not paying attention, but it's there and it is powerful. So, the interesting thing about this is that most men don't notice it. They are too distracted by words, by actions, by what is said out loud. But desire doesn't always announce itself verbally. Desire often hides behind a mask of casual conversation and social niceties. The eyes, however, are honest. Even if she tells you she's not interested, even if she laughs at someone else or pretends to be distant, those eyes will betray a truth she refuses to speak. And the truth is this: attention follows interest. Her eyes are following yours, even when she acts like she isn't. You have to understand the psychology here. The human brain cannot fully control where the eyes are drawn. Attraction is a subconscious force. When she's curious about you, when she wants something you may not even know she wants, her eyes reveal it before she even realizes it herself. She might look away quickly when caught, or pretend she's not looking at all. But the pattern repeats. She checks for your presence. She gauges your reaction. She measures your awareness. And here's the subtle genius of it. She's watching to see if you are awake to her presence. She wants to know if you notice, and most men don't. Most men miss it completely. Now, there's a very delicate balance here. You can't be obvious or aggressive. This isn't about staring back or forcing eye contact. This is about perception, about awareness. The man who truly understands this reads between the lines, notices what is fleeting, and interprets subtle signals that others dismiss as coincidence or friendliness. A glance that lasts a fraction of a second, a tilt of the head while her eyes briefly meet yours, a spark of curiosity that disappears when someone else turns her attention away. These are all moments you must recognize if you want to understand hidden desire. Philosophically, this is where awareness and observation become a form of intelligence. Most people live their lives reacting to what is obvious. They wait for words, for confessions, for confirmations that may never come. But the man who can see what is hidden, who can understand the language of subtlety, who can read the silent signals in her eyes, is operating on an entirely different level. He sees what others cannot. He knows what others ignore, and he gains access to a realm of understanding that most men will never even glimpse. Consider this: when she looks at you in a way that seems casual but carries depth, she is communicating without speaking. Every flicker, every dart, every return glance is a signal, a question, a test. She is seeing if you notice, if you understand, if you are awake. Most men fail this test because they are not paying attention. They are too busy interpreting what is said, missing what is felt. They are blind to the nuances of attraction, blind to the subtle dance that plays out in moments they consider insignificant. And there's another layer to this. The eyes do not just reveal curiosity, they reveal desire, strategy, and emotion simultaneously. A woman who wants something secret is constantly calculating, assessing, observing. She is looking for patterns, testing boundaries, and seeking reactions. The eyes are a mirror of this internal activity. If you can read her gaze correctly, you will understand not only her interest, but also her intent. This is powerful knowledge, and it is rarely spoken about openly because it challenges the conventional idea that attraction is always direct or obvious. Here's the truth: most men never learn this because they are trained to listen, not to watch. They are trained to expect verbal confirmation, explicit actions, and clear signs. But attraction, especially hidden attraction, does not work that way. It whispers, it flickers, it hides in shadows. The eyes are the first place it appears. They are instinctive, raw, and unfiltered. And when you train yourself to see them, you awaken a skill that transforms not just your understanding of women, but your understanding of human behavior itself. So, what do you do with this knowledge? You observe, you remain present. You pay attention to the small, fleeting moments that most men dismiss. You see the signals others miss. And most importantly, you act with awareness, not with assumption. The man who notices the unspoken, who reads the subtle cues, who understands the language of the eyes, gains a silent advantage. He moves in a world of hidden truths where most men stumble blindly. Remember, this is not about manipulation or control. It is about awareness. It is about understanding that human desire is complex, layered, and often unspoken. And the eyes are the doorway to this understanding. When you finally see what is hidden, you gain clarity that most men spend a lifetime searching for. You see patterns, you recognize intentions, and you understand depth in a way that changes the way you connect with people, not just women, but everyone around you. So next time you are with someone, don't just hear what they say, watch what they don't say. Observe the flickers in their eyes, the silent questions they pose, the curiosity they hide behind smiles. These moments are brief, delicate, and powerful. And if you train yourself to notice, you will never look at human interaction the same way again. Her eyes reveal the hidden world of desire, curiosity, and intention. And the man who sees it, who truly sees it, steps into a dimension most men will never even know exists. It's subtle, it's profound, and it's life-changing. So open your eyes, watch closely, notice what others ignore, because what you see in those fleeting glances is not just attraction, it is truth. And when you understand that, you will never miss what is hidden again. Now, let's move beyond what the eyes reveal and dive into something just as powerful, but even more easily overlooked: her words. Most men hear words, take them at face value, and miss the subtle signals hidden beneath the surface. But the truth is, when a younger woman wants something secret, she speaks in breadcrumbs. Every story she tells, every joke she laughs at, every casual comment is carefully placed, even if she doesn't realize it herself. And if you can read these breadcrumbs, you will understand a world that most men spend their entire lives blind to. Conversation is more than just words. It is a map, a code, a series of signals disguised as ordinary interaction. She might tell you about her day, about what she likes or dislikes, about the people around her, or even seemingly meaningless events. To the untrained ear, it sounds normal, just friendly, casual chatter, but there is always intention behind her choice of words. Every phrase, every story, every small detail is a test, a subtle probe, a way to see if you are awake enough to notice what most men cannot. This is where most men fail. They listen to the content, but they ignore the subtext. They hear her laughter, her jokes, her casual mentions, and think it is just normal behavior. But in reality, she is communicating in a language most men don't even know exists. She is showing curiosity, gauging reactions, measuring interest, and creating invisible pathways that lead to connection. These are not random words. These are breadcrumbs. And if you are not following them carefully, someone else will. Consider her humor. A joke might seem innocent, but the way she directs it, the way she laughs, and the timing of it often carries hidden meaning. Humor is a social tool. It is a subtle way to create intimacy without directly exposing vulnerability. When she laughs at your jokes, when she teases in a playful manner, or when she shares something funny in a story that seems personal but not too revealing, she is testing boundaries. She is seeing if you understand her, if you get her, if you are awake to the subtle signals she is sending. Most men call this friendly banter. The man who notices calls it insight. Then there is the way she tells stories. Pay attention to the details she emphasizes, the people she mentions, and the moment she lingers on. Does she describe events in a way that includes you, even indirectly? Does she bring up situations that reveal curiosity about your reactions, your decisions, or your feelings? These are breadcrumbs leading you toward a truth she may never say outright. She is not confessing, but she is guiding. She is giving you hints, and most men are too distracted, too impatient, or too unobservant to follow the path she is laying. You must also understand the psychological dimension here. Humans are wired to communicate in layers. What we say overtly is often safe, controlled, and socially acceptable. What we reveal subtly through tone, phrasing, and emphasis carries more honesty than words alone. Desire, curiosity, and interest are rarely expressed directly. directly, they are embedded in the choices we make when speaking. The moment she chooses to share a particular story or detail with you, she is deciding to let you in little by little. If you are paying attention, you can decode these choices. If you are not, the opportunity passes unnoticed. Language is not merely a tool for communication, it is a mirror of intention. When a woman is interested in something secret, she cannot openly declare it. Social norms, fear of judgment, and the subtle power dynamics at play create a barrier to direct expression. So she communicates around the edges. She drops hints. She provides signals embedded in conversation. And the man who understands these signals is operating in a world where most others are blind, reacting only to the obvious, missing everything profound, hidden in plain sight. Notice, too, the rhythm of her words. Does she pause when speaking to you? Does she repeat certain themes or questions? Does she circle back to topics she knows elicit a reaction from you? These are breadcrumbs in motion. She is testing your awareness, your understanding, your patience. She is creating a trail for you to follow, and the subtlety is intentional. She wants to see if you are awake enough to notice, intelligent enough to interpret, and aware enough to respond in ways that acknowledge the truth. She will never verbalize directly. Most men ignore all of this because they want simplicity. They want her to say it outright. But life, attraction, and human desire are rarely simple. Desire is subtle, mysterious, and layered. She speaks in nuances because saying it directly could destroy the balance she wants to maintain. She wants to protect herself, test you, and control the pace of revelation. Her words, therefore, become both shield and signal, a dual function that only those attuned to the subtle art of human behavior can decode. And here's the most crucial point. Following these breadcrumbs is not about manipulation, suspicion, or overthinking. It is about awareness, perception, and understanding human nature. It is about recognizing patterns, observing responses, and connecting dots that others refuse to see. A man who reads her words carefully, who listens beyond content, who interprets subtext, gains a rare advantage. He sees what is hidden, understands what is unspoken, and navigates the subtle currents of desire that most men completely miss. So, the next time you are in conversation, don't just hear her words, listen to the spaces between them. Observe what she emphasizes, what she repeats, what she lingers on. Notice the questions she asks, the stories she shares, and the humor she deploys. These are not random, they are breadcrumbs. Each one that leads closer to the truth she cannot speak aloud. Each one reveals intention, curiosity, and hidden interest. Each one is an opportunity for the man who is awake to step into a dimension that most men never even recognize exists. And when you finally understand this, something shifts. You no longer take words at face value. You no longer react blindly to conversation. You see beneath the surface. You recognize patterns that others overlook. You understand the unspoken language of desire. And in that understanding, you gain clarity, control, and insight that most men will spend a lifetime searching for, but never find. Her words are breadcrumbs, and the man who notices can follow the trail. He gains insight, he understood Anne's intention, and he steps into a world where most are blind. Now let's talk about something even more undeniable than words, something that is instinctive, raw, and impossible to completely control: body language. While most men focus on what is said, the truth is that the body never lies. Every gesture, every posture, every small movement can reveal desire, curiosity, and intent even when she refuses to speak them aloud. When a younger woman wants something secret, when she is interested in a way she cannot admit openly, her body communicates a story that words alone could never convey. And if you can read it, you gain insight most men will spend their lives searching for, but never find lives. Think about the way she positions herself around you. Does she lean closer when you speak? Does she angle her body subtly in your direction, even while pretending to be engaged elsewhere? These are instinctive signals. She is not aware she is doing it, yet her body is guiding you toward understanding her hidden intent. And here's the crucial part. These gestures are consistent. A flicker of closeness, a tilt of the head, a lean forward when you speak. These are not accidents. They are signs, and the man who notices them sees the truth behind the pretense. There is also the matter of mirroring. Subconsciously, humans mimic the movements of those they are drawn to. If she copies your posture, matches your gestures, or adjusts her tone to align with yours, it is not random. It is an unconscious acknowledgement of connection. It is a silent signal that she feels aligned with you, that she is comfortable, and that she is testing the boundaries of intimacy. Most men dismiss this as coincidence, but those who understand body language recognize it as one of the most powerful indicators of hidden attraction. Small touches are equally revealing. A light brush of the hand, adjusting her hair when near you, a casual touch on the shoulder. These actions are subtle, fleeting, and often dismissed by men as accidental. But in reality, they carry intention. They are explorations of comfort, measurements of boundaries, and invitations that are rarely acknowledged aloud. The woman who wants something secret uses these gestures to gauge your reaction. She wants to see if you are aware, if you are attentive, if you are capable of reading what is not said. And most men are oblivious. Let's also consider the way she manages space around you. Does she position herself where she can catch your attention without being obvious? Does she close the gaps subtly, leaning in just enough for her presence to be felt, but not so much that it demands attention? These choices are instinctive yet deliberate. They are the language of desire spoken without words, and they are happening constantly. If you are awake, if you are present, if you are paying attention, you can interpret them. If you are not, they vanish like whispers in the wind. There is a philosophical dimension to this as well. The body is a reflection of the mind, and the mind cannot always control instinctive reactions. Desire, curiosity, and emotional investment manifest physically before they are ever verbalized. When a woman is secretly interested, she is navigating a delicate balance. She wants to express attraction, but she also wants to protect herself, maintain control, and ensure safety. The body provides the expression she cannot give with words, and the man who understands this sees beyond the surface, reading the subtle cues that reveal truth hidden behind politeness and social convention. Observe, micro-express. Scissions, a fleeting smile, a raised eyebrow, a quick glance away. All of these are tiny windows into her inner state. They are brief, but they are telling. They occur in milliseconds and are often lost to inattentive observers. Yet they reveal emotions she cannot articulate. Desire, curiosity, hesitation, intrigue. These all appear in micro moments of movement and expression. The eyes, the mouth, the hands, all are storytellers, conveying messages her lips never will. And then there is posture and energy, the way she carries herself around you, the subtle shifts in weight, the rhythm of her movements. They communicate more than words ever could. Confidence, comfort, attraction, anticipation, they are all present in the energy she radiates. A man who can read this energy, who can feel the shifts and nuances of presence, gains a profound understanding of her intentions, her boundaries, and her interest. Most men never develop this sensitivity. They rely on what is spoken, ignoring the language that is far more honest. Another aspect to notice is timing. Timing is everything in body language. Does she move closer when you are engaged in conversation? Does she adjust when you look her way? Does she hesitate or pause in ways that reveal interest before she speaks? These patterns are subtle, but they are consistent. The woman who wants something secret is constantly testing, gauging, and calibrating her movements to see if you are awake, if you understand, if you notice. And most men miss these opportunities because they are waiting for explicit confirmation instead of observing subtle truth. And here's the key takeaway: body language is not optional. It is unavoidable. You cannot hide instinctive desire. You cannot fully control the subtle movements of your body. And when she is secretly interested, her body will communicate it in ways words never could. The man who notices sees the signals others ignore. He reads the invisible story, decodes the unspoken messages, and gains an insight into human behavior that is both rare and invaluable. This is why awareness matters more than ever. Being present, being attentive, being conscious of these silent signals transforms the way you understand attraction. It allows you to perceive depth where others see only surface. It enables you to connect with intention, clarity, and understanding. And it equips you with the ability to respond appropriately to a desire that is carefully hidden behind social norms, politeness, and discretion. So pay attention to posture, gestures, micro expressions, and energy. Notice the subtle shifts in movement, the unconscious mirroring, the quiet adjustments of space. These are all signals of hidden intent, carefully woven into daily interaction. They are not loud or obvious. They are whispers, clues, and breadcrumbs placed intentionally or instinctively for the observant man to see. And when you recognize them, you step into a level of understanding that most men will never reach. Her body will reveal what her words and her eyes only hint at. And the man who can read these signals is the man who sees the truth before it is spoken. He understands not only attraction, but human psychology, emotional nuance, and the hidden currents of desire that flow beneath polite conversation and casual interaction. Now, let's get to one of the most shocking truths most men will never hear. Even though it is staring them in the face, she will never confess directly. If you are waiting for her to say it, waiting for her to admit interest, waiting for a straightforward declaration of desire, I need you to understand this. Your waiting is wasted. Most men fall into this trap because they are conditioned to believe that truth comes in words, that interest must be expressed openly, that attraction requires confession. But life, human behavior, and especially desire rarely work that way. A woman who wants something secret, who is interested in a subtle, hidden connection, is not going to hand it to you on a silver platter. She is clever, strategic, and protective of herself. Direct confession would expose her, remove her control, and risk vulnerability she is not ready to give. Desire, curiosity, and interest are delicate forces. She reveals them in fragments, in hints, in gestures, in patterns, not in words. And the man who waits for confession is blind to everything else. He misses the signs that are right in front of him. Think about it philosophically for a moment. Most of human interaction is about negotiation, of trust, of boundaries, of intention. Words are often a form of social currency, polite masks we wear to maintain safety and manage perception. Confessing openly, saying, I want this, or I am interested, carries risk. It exposes vulnerability, shifts power, and invites judgment. So instead, she communicates in subtleties. She speaks around the edges. She hints. She drops breadcrumbs. And she does it continuously, testing whether you are awake, whether you are awake, whether you are awake, whether you are aware, whether you understand without needing to be told. This is why the awareness we've discussed in earlier points is critical. If you rely solely on verbal confirmation, you are operating at the lowest level of perception. You are blind to nuance, deaf to intention, and unaware of the currents that flow beneath polite conversation. But if you have trained yourself to notice the eyes, the words, the gestures, the posture, then the truth is there for you. You don't need a confession. You don't need an explicit declaration. You simply need the perception to read what she cannot or will not say. It is also psychological. Humans are wired to protect themselves. A secret desire, a hidden interest is vulnerable. Admitting it directly is exposing something private, something she may not even fully understand herself. By leaving her feelings unspoken, she retains control over the situation. She maintains flexibility, she keeps options open, and she gauges the reactions of those around her. Every movement, every word, every glance is calculated consciously or subconsciously to reveal just enough and never more than necessary. Waiting for confession is like trying to read a book while refusing to look at the pages. Most men misinterpret silence as disinterest. They think that because she doesn't say it, she doesn't feel it. But silence in this context is not emptiness. It is strategy. It is a subtle, intelligent way to communicate without exposing vulnerability. It is a test, a measurement, a probe to see if you are present, aware, intelligent enough to read between the lines. And most men fail because they are conditioned to expect over signals, explicit words, and obvious signs. They wait, they hesitate, they lose. There is also a deeper truth here about power dynamics. The woman who wants something secret holds power in her discretion. She decides what is revealed, when it is revealed, and to whom. Confession would remove that power. It would make her vulnerable, predictable, and controlled. By withholding verbal admission, she maintains balance, safety, and agency. The man who understands this does not demand confession. He does not pressure for words. He observes, interprets, and responds to what is actually present. And in doing so, he enters a realm of understanding where most men never go. Notice how she may hint indirectly, using humor, stories, or questions to gauge your reaction. Notice the small signals embedded in conversation, the fleeting glances, the subtle touches, the alignment of energy and posture. All of these are forms of confession without confession. They are messages hidden in plain sight, and they require awareness to read. The man who understands this does not wait for a declaration. He recognizes intention, deciphers patterns, and navigates the unspoken currents of desire with precision. It is important to emphasize that this is not manipulation. It is perception. It is understanding that attraction, interest, and desire are rarely straightforward. People are complex. Humans protect themselves instinctively, and they communicate in layers that most men refuse to see. Waiting for her to confess is waiting for something that may never come. Observing, interpreting, and responding is engaging with reality as it exists, not as you wish it would be. Here is another subtle layer. The moment you expect confession, the dynamic changes. She senses your expectation, your need for clarity, your reliance on words. That shifts the balance, and suddenly the subtle communication she was comfortable with becomes constrained. By waiting, by demanding, by hoping for verbal admission, you actually reduce the chances of truly understanding her. Awareness, attention, and perception are your tools. They replace the need for confession. They allow you to navigate desire without forcing it into language. Think about how this applies in everyday interaction. She might laugh at your jokes, share stories, lean in, glance subtly, or mirror your movements. None of these actions are a confession, yet they reveal more than words could ever accomplish. They are proof of interest, curiosity, and hidden intention. And if you recognize them, you act with understanding. If you ignore them, you remain blind, waiting endlessly for a statement that may never arrive. This is the reality most men refuse to see. The truth is uncomfortable because it challenges assumptions. It challenges the notion that attraction is always explicit. It forces awareness, observation, and mental acuity. It demands that you pay attention to subtleties, read patterns, and understand context. And most men fail because it is easier to wait, to hope, to rely on words than it is to notice the unspoken and act on insight. So, what is the lesson here? Stop waiting for her to say it. Stop hoping for confession. Start observing, start noticing, start interpreting. Watch the eyes, listen to the words, feel the energy, understand the body. Every silent signal is a confession in its own right. And the man who sees these signals gains access to a world of hidden truths, a realm of subtle desire, and an understanding of human behavior most will never experience. Do not demand clarity. Do not expect words. Expect awareness. Expect observation. Expect intelligence. And in that expectation, you will find the truth that is never spoken, the intention that is never admitted, and the connection that is always present for those willing to see it. Now, we arrive at the most powerful truth of all, the point that ties everything together and separates men who are blind to reality from those who operate with precision and insight. Awareness unlocks hidden opportunities. This is the point where understanding, perception, and attention converge to give you access to a level of insight that most men will never even imagine. If you have learned to see what the eyes reveal, to follow the breadcrumbs of words, to read the truth in body language, and to understand that confession is never direct, then awareness becomes your ultimate tool. And awareness is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and transformative. Let me explain. Most men live their lives reacting to what is obvious, waiting for signals that are loud, clear, and direct. They miss the subtle cues because they are conditioned to expect simplicity in human behavior. They wait for words, gestures, or admissions that may never come. But awareness allows you to perceive what is hidden. It allows you to operate in a space where subtlety, nuance, and unspoken intention dominate. It allows you to see patterns, to interpret signals, and to act with clarity while others are stumbling blindly. Awareness is the difference between seeing the surface and understanding the depth beneath it. Think about it psychologically. Awareness is not just noticing, it is understanding, connecting, and interpreting. It is the ability to take the flicker of a glance, the tone of a word, the shift in posture, and weave it into a coherent understanding of intent. It is the skill of perceiving layers of meaning that exist beneath everyday interaction. And when you cultivate this skill, you enter a realm where desire, curiosity, and intention are no longer mysterious. They are visible, they are measurable, and they are actionable. The remarkable thing about awareness is that it transforms every interaction. When you are awake to the subtle signals, nothing is trivial. Every look, every word, every gesture becomes significant. You start to recognize patterns that others overlook. You notice the repetition of themes, the strategic alignment of behavior, the unspoken tests that most men fail to see. And by understanding these patterns, you gain a silent advantage. You are no longer blind, reactive, or uncertain. You are deliberate, attentive, and empowered. Awareness also creates opportunity because it allows you to respond intelligently rather than impulsively. When you notice what is hidden, you can choose your response carefully, strategically, and with understanding. You are no longer trapped by assumptions, guesses, or misinterpretations. You see clearly, and clarity brings power. The man who observes, understands, and acts based on awareness creates opportunities that others will never recognize. He moves through social and emotional dynamics with a precision that feels almost effortless because he is seeing what others ignore. Philosophically, this is where awareness intersects with wisdom. Life is composed of subtle forces, invisible currents, and unspoken intentions. Most people drift along, reacting to the obvious, missing the profound. But the man who cultivates awareness becomes attuned to the invisible. He reads between the lines, deciphers signals, and recognizes connections that are hidden in plain sight. Awareness turns the ordinary into extraordinary. It transforms mundane interactions into opportunities for insight, connection, and influence. Consider what this means in the context of attraction and hidden desire. When a woman wants something secret, when she is not confessing, when she communicates through eyes, words, and body language, only awareness allows you to perceive it. The subtlety, the discretion, and the intelligence of her signals require a man who is awake, attentive, and perceptive. If you lack awareness, the opportunity passes unnoticed. If you cultivate it, you gain a rare perspective that allows you to engage at a level most men will never reach. Awareness is the key to unlocking what is invisible, and in doing so, it changes everything. Awareness is also cumulative. Every moment you pay attention, every subtle signal you notice, every pattern you recognize strengthens your ability to understand hidden intention. It becomes a skill, a lens through which you view the world. And the remarkable part is that this skill is not limited to understanding attraction. It applies to relationships, human behavior, communication, and influence in every area of life. Awareness turns ordinary perception into extraordinary insight. It allows you to operate in a realm where most people cannot even perceive the rules. There is a subtle but critical point here. Awareness is not about control or manipulation. It is about understanding reality as it is. It is about seeing truth that is often hidden, recognizing signals that are often ignored, and interpreting behavior that is often misunderstood. The man who cultivates awareness does not force outcomes. He aligns himself with truth, acts with intelligence, and moves through social dynamics with precision. Awareness is the bridge between perception and action, between observation and mastery. Now, imagine what this means when combined with the previous insight. You have learned to read the eyes, follow the breadcrumbs of words, interpret body language, and understand that confession is never direct. Awareness allows you to synthesize all of these elements into a single, coherent understanding. You see the hidden patterns, you understand intention, you anticipate behavior, you respond intelligently. And when you do this, you unlock opportunities that others never even recognize exist. Awareness becomes your superpower. This is why awareness is transformative. It is the skill that separates men who remain blind to desire from those who move with clarity and confidence. It is the ability to perceive what is hidden, interpret what is subtle, and act in a way that is deliberate, intelligent, and aligned with reality. It allows you to navigate complex social and emotional landscapes with insight and precision. Awareness turns subtle cues into actionable understanding, hidden intention into opportunity, and fleeting moments into lasting advantage. The final truth is this: life is full of hidden signals, subtle opportunities, and unspoken dynamics. Most men ignore them because they are distracted, impatient, or untrained. But the man who cultivates awareness sees what others do not. He understands the unspoken language of desire. He reads patterns in words, gestures, and glances. He perceives the invisible currents of human behavior. And in doing so, he gains access to a world of insight, connection, and opportunity that most men will never even imagine. Awareness is not accidental. It requires attention, practice, and patience. It requires a commitment to observing, noticing, and understanding the world as it is rather than as you wish it to be. But the payoff is enormous. When you cultivate awareness, you are no longer blind to hidden desire, subtle intention, or unspoken opportunity. You step into a realm where clarity, perception, and intelligence guide your interactions. You become a man who sees the invisible, understands the unspoken, and moves with mastery in a world most will never even notice.